Tingle and Co. What up, Noah? What up, Lord? You can call me him. I'm Shay Dixon in the whip with them RPMs. Gotta pull up to the chat and shit out to them. Not trying to ball like Big Folk, then get out the gym. Monday through and from 7 to 9. When you see that notification, we about to go live. Hit this trick, do you dance like you Karen Lacey? Run it back and turn Matthew to the house, baby. It's Tingle and Co. From 7 to 9. Come keep with the show. It's a new era. Let's get it, let's go. From 7 to 9. It's Tingle and Co. Word up.
All right, good morning and welcome in to a late edition of Tingle & Co. here, as we have had quite the morning.
So I don't get here early for anything.
Yeah. We actually, and this is what I will say, credit to everybody in this room, Lloyd, Wyatt, myself, we were all here on time, ready to go. This show would have been up and rolling at 8 a.m. this morning. I have no doubts about it. But as I was about to pull up the studio, Wyatt had just gotten here, and he texts, hey, do we have a key to the outside upstairs door because the elevator is not working? And so what I will say to the structure of this building, there are stairs
Outside.
okay? There's a lot of pressure, especially for us, on this elevator. This elevator is kind of the key to the whole thing. We have keys to get into the first floor gate and door, but those doors are different than the exterior doors of the second and third floor.
But the key to the second floor is the same as the
Works
key
on
to the third floor.
But we don't possess that key. And so the fire, people were asking if this building is a fire hazard. No, you can get out of the doors easily.
If you left something
You would not
inside,
be able to get back in.
So if you grab all your valuables in the
But
first
if you were in
swoop.
if you were in the studio or in the building and something happened, you can get out and you'll be okay. It's just locked from the exterior, hard to get in. So the elevator's down. We were not able to get up. Luckily, we had a savior named Wyatt who saw someone that possesses a key to the third floor exterior door, and Wyatt proceeded to bark at the young lady and say, "Hey, hold that, we need it."
So she went faster.
He identified, made a play, sprinted up the stairs, kept that door open for us,
And
we
now we're
got
here.
in.
We went through jumped through all the hoops we could.
We did everything we could to get here, and we made it work this morning. We appreciate y'all sticking around with us. It was nice to pop the chat back open at 8 a.m. and see 35, 40 people in here just waiting
On our
us to be
well-being.
live. And I will tell you, we did everything we could to be on time, but we didn't give up. We sat outside for 30 minutes and got in here at 8:30. So we appreciate you guys sticking with us, and we are glad to be here. And shout out to Charles, Jason, and their crew over at Southern Regional for making sure we got in this morning and taking care of us throughout the process of the elevator being down. This is maybe the most important elevator in the world, because it is the only one that gets Tingle & Co. to their studio. So, Sabrion asked Wyatt, did you get her number just in case?
Yeah, to let us in next time.
Yeah, let us in next time.
It's the budding of a beautiful relationship.
It is. Something beautiful sparking right in front of our eyes. Sadly, we will not be able to give you the full 2 hours this morning because of that. I cannot extend to 10:30 this morning. I have to get out of here at 10 and get to Madison Preparatory Academy for Central High School freshman basketball versus Madison Prep at 11 a.m. So I need to get there for 10:30.
What's the game plan? What are y'all gonna run? 2-1-2?
Oh, we're man. We play man defense. We go with the zone press, right? The zone press is a 2-1-2, or a 2-2-1 actually. But we play man defense in the half court straight up. Let's see what you can do. But at 9 a.m. this morning, we'll have Zack Naggie join us to talk some LSU football, as there's a lot that transpired over the weekend, a lot that started yesterday that you kind of saw. And it started with a video put out by LSU football themselves. There was a lot said, the conversation around Kevin Smith as a running backs coach, this new LSU offensive staff. You get to see them put on a show on Saturday as Ole Miss rocks Tulane 41-10, and then the next day LSU drops a video of that staff making their way into football ops where they will be working on off days. So on days they do not need to be in Oxford working towards their college football playoff games. When they have off days, they will be here. And does anyone know why they will be here? Because there's also an important date in line in Baton Rouge, and that is January 2nd. They are getting here, getting ready for the transfer portal, which is shaping up to be, like I said last week, basically a state holiday. We should all get off work on January 2nd for the portal opening, because it is going to be a massive day for this era of LSU football. But yeah, if you didn't see the video yesterday, go to the LSU football Twitter, and you can see the offensive staff walk their way up the stairs in football ops, highlighted by none other than Kevin Smith. Here is said video. There he is. There's your new running backs coach right there, Kevin Smith, who is officially on staff as LSU's running back coach. As Matt Zenitz yesterday put out the news about his contract that he has signed to be the LSU running backs coach, which I believe is around $1 million, which makes him one of the highest paid running back coach in the country. The tweet says, LSU has finalized a deal to hire Ole Miss's Kevin Smith as running backs coach that's expected to pay him close to $1 million per year and will make him one of the nation's highest paid running back coaches. Smith developed players like Kewan Lacey and Quinshawn Judkins at Ole Miss. And if you watch that game on Saturday, like I said, you got a very good look at that future LSU offense. As they put up 41 points. And I think they scored the first touchdown in like less than a minute. They got down the field. I think it was 4 plays. You end up with a Kewan Lacey 20-yard touchdown to get into the end zone to go up in that football game. It was nice to watch that future LSU offense is what I'll call it. It's the Ole Miss offense. But watching it transpire the way they executed, just from a scheme standpoint, a schematic standpoint, was fun to watch, because that's what you should be expecting in Baton Rouge in the year of our Lord 2026. Speaking of coaching hires, it does seem like LSU has circled their guy on the other side of the ball to fill the final coaching staff position, which is that illustrious and elusive D-line coach, as LSU has just had a revolving door at defensive line coach. But they have targeted South Carolina defensive assistant Sterling Lucas to be the new defensive line coach on Lane Kiffin's staff. It would be a significant get if they can pull it off. It does feel like it is expected to be done. But it's a dangerous game to play, because we had this, I think we did this show maybe 2 weeks ago, where it was like, E-Rob, let's do it. This is your guy. You've got the deal done. Splash hire made. That ended up flaking out a little bit, and now Elijah Robinson is expected to be back in College Station as the A&M defensive line coach. But defensive assistant Sterling Lucas, the South Carolina D-end outside linebackers coach, is the favorite to be LSU's next defensive line coach and to round out Lane Kiffin's staff. And there is a reason why that is significant, not just because you'd be completing your staff, but there's a guy on that roster that was recruited, developed, and coached by one Sterling Lucas. And who would that be? Does anyone know that name? That stands out, that's got everybody excited. And this isn't any inside sourcing. Not saying this guy's going to be in the purple and gold next year. But with the way the sport has transpired and grown and the way it operates now.
Dylan, and
Dylan Stewart, the electric freshman last season for South Carolina, followed it up with a dominant sophomore season. One of the best edge rushers in the country, is one of Sterling Lucas's guys. And I know there's some concern, there's been some conversation on Twitter, nothing of substance, but about potential a portal entry there. We shall see, because that would be absolutely unbelievable. In other news, there will be...
Whoa. You know who else he recruited? Nicholas Harper.
That's true. on the offensive side of the ball.
Or, well,
I mean, yeah, either or, I guess.
played both in high school. But
Yeah, I mean,
I would imagine that's why
Freak of nature.
Lucas was so involved in his recruiting, was he was also pitching because they didn't know what position he was going to play.
Right,
He was
just
defensive
go
end
get
or
him.
wide receiver or tight end or track, or he's a freak show. But LSU was very much in the running
the Harbor
for their
race.
Harbor sweepstakes,
Yep.
if you will. And obviously he chooses South Carolina from there. And now with Sterling Lucas possibly going to LSU, it could be a twofer where you swing and get – I mean, you need bodies in the wide receiver room. And the thought of having Nick Harbor and Trey'Dez Green on the outside is frightening and
Quite
very,
frightening.
very, I would say, thought-provoking for a quarterback to want to, if they're worrying who they'd be throwing to and what offense
Yeah.
they'll be in. Think, well, and we got these, what does Coach O say? You got, hey, I know you ain't heard of them yet, but Jamal Chase and Justin Jefferson. Okay.
There's a pretty good
It's a
recruiting
good pitch.
for sure. So it would be pretty special, and that is what we're talking about with this January 2nd date. The things that could potentially happen and will happen during that window are going to be massive, massive news stories, and it's just we talked about last week the combination of what LSU has right now with Lane Kiffin and this staff who are working their tails off, going from Oxford to Baton Rouge to work on off days to get things prepared for January 2nd. Lane Kiffin's excitement and determination that he's shown in the portal and he's continued to voice now in Baton Rouge, along with the brand and logo of LSU, which has always spoken volumes and reaches many, many people that love the sport of football. And then the NIL buy-in that LSU has, the donor base that has shown the ability to cough up cash when needed. They seem very organized on that front, and it seems like it is shaping up to be a very, very special 2-week window from January 2nd to January 16th. And that's all because you are looking to make a college football playoff berth sooner rather than later. Because this weekend you saw the second year of the 12-team college football playoff, and the first round games took place on Friday night. Alabama gets the win over Oklahoma in a much higher scoring game than many anticipated. What was the over-under? 39 and a half. And it ends up being 34-24. Bama wins. Then talking about your under, Miami defeats Texas A&M 10-3. Ole Miss throttles Tulane 41-10. And Oregon gets the win over James Madison 51-34. So there are your scores from the college football playoff. Nothing too surprising, I don't think, besides maybe the fact that Bama and Oklahoma scored a total of 58 points, while Miami and A&M combined for 13.
The
Other
wind.
than that-
It was the wind
Yeah.
at A&M.
Yep.
If they'd played later in the day or at night, maybe no wind.
Would have had a chance, yeah. Whatever.
That was
3 points.
That was a sight to see.
It was a disgusting game
It was,
to watch.
but it was competitive for sure.
Of
but
course.
yeah, nothing good was happening. It was
No.
3-3 going into the fourth quarter with 6 minutes left. You break one. What do you have? 10 carries for 171
Yes.
yards. It's like maybe you should run the football more.
Yeah, let's keep handing it off.
And you only ran 40 plays of offense, so you gave it to him 17 times. You only have 20 more plays that you could do essentially because
Right.
of fourth downs. It's like, well, I guess this is the offense because Carson Beck did nothing.
No, nothing.
And I was listening to McShay yesterday, like doing a kind of like a wrap of the college football like playoffs.
Yeah.
And one of the people in the chat was like, Carson Beck did exactly what you had to do to win. Nothing. And it's like, that's so true.
He didn't get in the way.
Right.
Right.
He threw for 100 yards.
But
Set, what, 21 of like
he
26
didn't have
or
one of
something?
those classic Carson Beck 4 interception stinkers.
Well, that's what they were going up against because you know who did? Marcel Reed.
Had a good
3
old
interceptions. And that's what it was literally the battle of who can shoot themselves in the foot
more.
less
Yeah.
or more.
Yeah.
And
Like who can not screw up?
because both of these guys, when they throw interceptions, they throw them in bunches.
Yes.
And so if you just don't give Carson Beck the opportunity to throw it in bunches, like it was all check down city.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Then you
And Marcel
game-
Reed was let it rip just to the wrong team.
You game plan for your
Deficiencies.
deficiencies. You're like, you know what? And it's something that we
Missed
had the
3 field
conversation
goals.
talking about Garrett Nussmeier, where it was like maybe when he gets in the red zone, we need to take the keys away and make him not as free with what he can do. But the good thing is, watching offense like that made me remember what we had to go through as LSU fans and what we will have to deal with no longer, because then you rolled into that 2:30 p.m. kick with Ole Miss playing. You got to say, okay, here we go. Now we can just sit back and watch our offense. It's a very odd feeling to go, you know what, I'm going to watch Ole Miss play, but I'm scouting for
with the brain
what we're going to look like next season, right? And what you saw was a team that scored 41 points, was not super efficient on third down, but 2 for 2 on fourth down. They had 497 total yards of offense, 27 of 34 passing, 346 yards. That's 10.2 yards per pass, no interceptions. 151 rushing yards on 34 attempts. Only one turnover, and obviously scored 41 points and lost the possession time battle.
Well, that's what happens when you lose. You're going to lose time of possession when you score.
In, 10 seconds?
3 plays, 75 yards in 59 seconds. Get the ball back. 4 plays, 60 yards, a minute 21, touchdown.
Yep. And then you go, you have more scoring drives where you get a touchdown. 7 plays, 80 yards in less than 3 minutes. 8 plays, 52 yards, 3 minutes. It's just,
explosive.
It was fun to watch that offense and know that is what Baton Rouge will look like a year from now, especially when you hear Pete Golding go to the podium postgame. And I saw a lot of people take offense to this and maybe view it as – I didn't take this as a shot to Lane Kiffin when Pete Golding stood up there and said that this was a performance for Charlie Weis to show who he was. This was not he didn't have the he didn't have the opportunity to not get the job done because it was his time to be his own person. And so I viewed it and heard it as more of a pat on the back and giving the flowers to Charlie Weis Jr. rather than a diss to Lane Kiffin and who he is. I think obviously it's easy to take it that way because of the way a lot of these things have been spoken about and the narratives that have been written and said. But I took this as more of just a kind of a nod to Charlie Weis Jr. And if I'm an LSU fan, I don't take offense to it. You know why?
I got both.
Because both of them are going to be in Baton Rouge. Whether it's Lane Kiffin's offense or Charlie Weis Jr.'s offense, it will be LSU's offense.
And here is Pete Golding on his comments.
The offensive staff have had a lot going on the past couple of weeks. Just how did you notice them handling the game plan and everything this week?
I had zero concern with Charlie Weis calling this game for this one reason. Charlie Weis cannot afford not to call a hell of a game. All right, all he's heard, right, his whole life, Lane Kiffin's office, Lane Kiffin's office, Lane Kiffin's office. So this is his one opportunity, right, for people to realize Charlie Weis calls the offense, right, just like he's done all year, and he did a great job of tonight. So I had no concern on that because the last thing Charlie want to do is come out here and lay an egg, all right, because then whose offense is it? Yeah, you be writing about it. Whose offense is it? That's right. Did he say his name? Whose offense is it? Okay. No, you just said Kiff's. Yeah. Because he didn't score any points. So Kiff wasn't here. Right? So then now, Charlie doesn't call the play. So Charlie does a great job. And there was zero concern with him. Like I said, from the very beginning, he didn't get on that plane with any doubt that he was going to coach us in the game because that's who he is. All right. So he did a great job.
A lot of all rights in there. All right.
All right. Well, yeah.
Listen to the old Godfather speak one too many times, and
it's a couple of guys out there
resonates.
that do that it's still kind of stuck with them.
It's just it's something about it. You know what I mean? Like it just.
If you fall into the trap, you just keep doing it.
Right.
Yeah. It's like a great little feel. All right.
Yeah. All right. I got you.
I mean, Caskey does it, and he never even
Caskey
worked with the man,
right.
but it's just it's like a coach. It's a rite of passage to me.
Right.
All right.
What is Lane does? He has a word he replaces it with.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it is. He doesn't do the I. It's okay.
Okay.
But
it's like explaining it to a small child.
Yes, a small child. To Pete Golding's point, I get exactly what he's saying. And did you take that as a diss to Lane Kiffin, like from Golding's standpoint?
It's just. Sorry, I'm allergic to bullshit. It just feels like it was. I guess it felt like it was something he had to say.
Right.
Where it would be a totally different sentiment and statement if Charlie Weis wasn't coming to LSU and say, we're going to be fine.
Right,
Look, Lane's offense. Look, Charlie's the one that does it here. Like, he knows it. He can run it. Obviously, look at the points we put up. And he's right to say that if they laid an egg, we talked about it. Like,
Of course.
oh, my God.
It's exactly what the storyline would have been.
Right. And it would have been fine for LSU's perspective if he did be like, well, Lane's here. It'd be fine.
It's a win-win
For LSU.
Yes.
And that's why I'm wondering he even felt I guess, to give him support. But it's not like he's staying.
Yeah.
And I don't even know. I guess they're going back for Georgia. Like,
Yes.
because it's
They're in
New
Baton Rouge
Orleans.
for off days.
When are their off days?
I mean, that's up to Ole Miss to decide.
Would
days
you
they're
be like, we're
willing, what days
working
they're
every
off.
day?
You probably should,
But if we're not practicing, then that's an off day.
I guess.
Okay. Interesting. I just think it's a very interesting dynamic.
It is very odd. I think
After-
Charles Hannegriff said something about it on Twitter where he was like, it's very crazy that LSU is being coached by a guy that's going to be at Ole Miss in 2 weeks, and Ole Miss is being coached by an entire staff that's under contract at LSU. He's like, this is all very – I was like, he's not wrong. And I'm not of the mindset where it's like, no. Take you that guy. We're taking our guy. Like, it's just kind of the way the calendar's worked out. This is going to be adjusted to, right?
The only thing that makes it crazy is that you have your entire staff sans one person at Ole Miss.
Right.
Like, you get out. But everybody else needs to – they all left. And it's like, wait, no, come back.
Right.
And
They need you, obviously.
Obviously, because they didn't have anybody that was going to call plays. That's my first thought.
Yeah.
Whenever this all kind of broke down and Weis was in Baton Rouge and you looked at the Ole Miss staff, you go, there's not a single – like, it went from nobody got on the plane to everybody got on the plane. And it was going to be, who's going to call your offense? Like, you don't have anybody that has any inkling of a clue as to what you're going to do. And then you see, obviously, Weis go back. Everybody that was hired as a staff member go back, and the offense was humming. Obviously, and you're playing Tulane. So you already beat them, 45-10. Now you beat them 41-10. So I guess Lane's worth 4 points at least.
Yeah,
but
at least.
The thing that scared me about that game, just as I'm projecting for next year, is you saw Kewan Lacey go down. I was like, get him out the game.
Right,
and
right, yeah.
But they don't have any reason. And then you saw Trinidad Chambliss go down. Like, within, two out of 3 plays, it's like, oh, fuck. And then Simmons comes in, and that was the lone turnover where he slung it around a little bit. Then they get some pressure. Ball gets knocked out, and you go, oh, Trinidad Chambliss automatically back in after they went to halftime. So you can see those two guys, and they're two guys that very much LSU has an interest in, I would imagine, especially with Kevin Smith going from Ole Miss to LSU. You would think that they're tied at the hip, correct?
Right.
But there's no real way to know that until it happens or until the portal opens or until Ole Miss loses. One of those things has to happen to see if you can get Lacey. I've read that Lacey has a $1.8 million offer from Ole Miss.
Yes,
and
that's what I've heard.
If I'm LSU, everybody says, we'll give him 2. I would not even have to play that game. I would go, you can take your 1.8, Ole Miss with who? Who's going to be?
Right, that's my first thought.
Or you could come to something you're very comfortable with your running backs coach, your offensive coordinator, your
Yes.
head coach. And you just put up 20 touchdowns, and you're going into your money year. I would say do you want to take $2 million and fall off, or you would take 1.5 and
we'll give you
top 2 pick.
We'll give you
2-round
1.3,
pick,
which is $500,000 less. But your running backs coach is here, and it's LSU. Like, and that's it. Doesn't have
you
to
get
be
continuity
a big war.
back.
And look, because then, hey, if he takes 1.8 and stays at Ole Miss, so be it. But however they decide to use the money, I'm not going to tell anybody how to spend their money because
it's not mine.
Has been very free with their cash. I mean, they just paid Kevin Smith almost $1 million.
Highest paid running backs
one
coach.
of the highest paid running backs coaches in the country. So we will see how it shakes out. But yeah, it'll be very interesting. But like we said, it was fun to watch that offense with the understanding that will be in Baton Rouge. Because to the point Pete Golding was making, I appreciate the credit you're giving the LSU offensive coordinator. That you go up on the podium, you talk about Charlie Weis's offense and how impressive it was and the performance he put together. I appreciate the credit. That's LSU's offensive coordinator. So whether it's Lane Kiffin or Charlie Weis's offense, it's LSU's offense. And that was the most fun part to watch when watching that football game at 2:30 p.m. this past Saturday. And the exciting thing is, on January 1st, you'll get a front row view at that offense because it'll be at the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans as Ole Miss faces off against Georgia. And we've got an exciting idea that's in the works over here for how that day may go down. Here from Tingle and Co. As I had the thought yesterday, I looked at the schedule and we discussed it a little bit because the portal opens up at midnight that night, right? At what? 12:01 that night after those games. We would be obviously doing this show from 8 to 10 a.m. on January 1st. That would roll into the kickoff for Oregon and Texas Tech at 11 a.m., which would then roll into kickoff for Bama, Indiana, which would then roll into kickoff for Ole Miss, Georgia, which would then roll into the transfer portal opening at midnight. And so the current idea we have, Tingle and Co., and feel free to let us know your thoughts, if you're in or you're out, is to just be live for it all.
Yeah.
To get here at 8:10 a.m., or 8 a.m., actually 7:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Show starts at 8. We go from 8 to 10, normal show, right, on January 1st. But the camera's going to stay rolling, the mic's going to stay on, we're just going to flick that TV on and watch the football game, right? And that's going to roll into the next game, and then the next game. And we'll just stay live for it all.
And then the coup de grace being the portal, because
The portal will open at midnight.
do you not think it's going to be, this is the only,
It's going to be like Black Friday.
that's what I was wondering, if
You
the
know?
doors open and people are rushing in, or
We'll
is
find
it
out.
like you have to wait until the next day? Or is it going to be like 12:01, announce? Because the way that Lane Kiffin is pubbing this thing, it feels like as soon as it's 12 o'clock in the morning, the next day, whatever, however you want to put it, 12 a.m., it feels like you'd be getting players in, but that also does lead down the path of how much have you talked to these guys if they're already willing to commit to LSU and
Right.
after 1 minute. But I guess we'd have to do our due diligence on how it worked last year and how quickly people hopped
Check
in
it
the
out.
portal. I don't know.
I mean, they're in the
that was my
portal
only
already.
thing. If we're on the portal at 12 and it's like
What's happening?
nothing happens.
So we'll find out, and we'll see. And that's the plan, because I think AJ Sports Cards has agreed between the break of the Oregon game and the Oregon Texas Tech and Bama Indiana, between those two games, to come in and rip some packs open live
Excellent.
on the stream. We'll obviously have food in here to make sure we're all fed. Might bring sleeping bags for the guys to sleep that night. Because it would then, I mean, obviously,
Shift change.
it would roll into 8 to 10 a.m. the next morning. Like, we would just do the transfer portal at midnight into however long that lasts, whoever can stay up. Then if we all end up falling asleep,
Keep the camera on.
cameras will stay on and we'll just
We won't be
live
locked out.
8 to 10 a.m. No, we won't be locked out. That's for sure not.
Also thought about what if we rearrange the room for the watch party, move the desk, put the 4 chairs, then we
Yes.
could have the 2 sleeping bags,
Yes, we'll move this thing around. We'll let people,
air mattress.
we'll get this thing right.
Yeah, popcorn.
But I'm glad we had the idea yesterday, so that now we can put the wheels in motion of
yes,
like,
this is how we're gonna do it.
We're gonna try to get Mac. I don't know if y'all remember Mac, but Mac was here with us for a couple watch parties last year. Went to Clemson with us and did the street conversations with Christian, which were excellent. Trying to get him in town.
I want him to go to the Georgia game. Georgia Ole Miss.
That would be good as well. And we'll try to get some different people in and out the building on that day to keep it entertaining.
LeBron
So
James.
we'll see how it goes. But it was a fun idea we had. If you were in, if you think that would be fun, let us know. But we're going to take a quick break here. I know we've only been live for 30 minutes, but that's because Zack Naggie will join us at 9 a.m. this morning to continue the LSU football conversation right after this.
Wardos was created in honor of Alan Ward Branning III, fondly known by family and friends as Wardo. In 2019, the oldest brother of the tribe passed away unexpectedly. His remaining siblings and loved ones wanted to honor his memory in a special way. In 2022, Ward's family decided to combine the need for a sandwich shop in downtown Natchez with a desire to pay tribute to Ward's love of good friends, good times, and great food. Through blood, sweat, tears, and countless hours of hard work, Wardo's was born. So go visit Wardo's today at 309 North Broadway Street in Natchez, where the po' boys are so good, you'll swear you're in Cajun country.
Hey, Miss Lou, come visit us, Tom and Wright Branding at Go Martin on the Go Deli.
Go Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need.
corner of Highland Boulevard and Highway 61 South in Natchez.
Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff.
Where everyone is family.
When it comes to your home, the roof over your head matters. At CAS Roofing, we don't just install shingles, we build peace of mind. With years of experience and a commitment to craftsmanship, our team shows up on time, gets the job done right, and treats every project like it's our own home. Whether it's a repair, a replacement, or a storm damage that caught you off guard, CAS Roofing is ready. We're local, we're dependable, and we stand behind every nail, every shingle, and every promise we make. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about roofing, it's about protecting what matters most. CAS Roofing, built on trust, backed by quality.
Wardo's was created in honor of Alan Ward Granning III, fondly known by family and friends as Wardo. In 2019, the oldest brother of the tribe passed away unexpectedly. His remaining siblings and loved ones wanted to honor his memory in a special way. In 2022, Ward's family decided to combine the need for a sandwich shop in downtown Natchez with a desire to pay tribute to Ward's love of good friends, good times, and great food. Through blood, sweat, tears, and countless hours of hard work, Wardo's was born. So go visit Wardo's today at 309 North Broadway Street in Natchez, where the po' boys are so good, you'll swear you're in Cajun country.
Hey, Miss Lou, come visit us, Tom and Wright Granning at Go Martin on the Go Deli.
Go Martin has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need.
Located at the corner of Highland Boulevard and Highway 61 South in Natchez.
Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff.
Where everyone is family.
When it comes to your home, the roof over your head matters. At CAS Roofing, we don't just install shingles, we build peace of mind. With years of experience and a commitment to craftsmanship, our team shows up on time, gets the job done right, and treats every project like it's our own home. Whether it's a repair, a replacement, or a storm damage that caught you off guard, CAS Roofing is ready. We're local, we're dependable, and we stand behind every nail, every shingle, and every promise we make. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about roofing, it's about protecting what matters most. CAS Roofing, built on trust, backed by quality.
All right, welcome back here to hour number 2 as we are joined by Zack Naggie of LSU on Sports Illustrated, continuing the LSU football conversation this morning. As a lot has transpired over the last couple of weeks. We obviously talked to him last week, but since then, some new faces in LSU football ops and a college football playoff weekend number 1. Zack, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, man. Appreciate y'all for having me on. Pretty chaotic last couple of days since we last talked, obviously. Sterling Lucas, Kevin Smith, etc. we got some good stuff to talk about.
Yeah, no, for sure. We'll start with the video that came out on LSU football's Twitter yesterday of the Ole Miss staff, now LSU staff, making their way into the building. And it was the first time you saw Kevin Smith in LSU football ops. And then the announcement comes out, that he is LSU's new running backs coach. What is LSU getting in Kevin Smith? And how much of this is he tied to Kewan Lacey in that conversation as well?
Yeah, no, I think this is one that's kind of been in the works for the last couple of weeks, ever since Lane Kiffin really made his way here. Obviously, once he got down here, you saw him bring Charlie Weis, George McDonald, the wide receivers coach, Joe Cox, the tight ends coach, and there was always buzz behind the scenes on, okay, is Kevin Smith coming or not? Kind of rumors about his family being here during Lane Kiffin's introductory press conference and all these other pieces that kind of tied into it. And ultimately, once Frank Wilson was revealed that he was going to Ole Miss, all signs pointed towards that kind of being official and over the kind of finish line here. And here we are. Kevin Smith's kind of in the works to be one of the highest paid running backs coaches in America on Lane Kiffin's staff. And it's a big one. He brings a lot of experience. He brings a lot of developmental traits. We've seen what he's done, obviously, with Kewan Lacey this year. And then to the second piece of that question, is he directly tied to Lacey? I think that there's a big piece there that would kind of trend in that direction. Ultimately, you have to see once he enters the portal, if he enters the portal, if LSU is willing to bring out kind of the Brinks truck and pay him what he's going to be commanding. Because when you're one of the top running backs in the SEC, one of the top running backs in America, a Doak Award finalist, he's going to command a big payday. And I think Lane Kiffin and company are obviously prepared to kind of unleash that treasure chest full of roster cash during the transfer portal window. So I would assume that if Lacey did enter, they'd be willing to give him that payday. But I'll tell you what, I'd like to say that he's pretty tied to Kevin Smith, but Ole Miss is going to do everything they can to keep him up there in Oxford. It's going to be fascinating to watch once that portal window does open.
And let's, if I remember correctly, Ole Miss already had an influx of, I guess, people that they retained or re-signed. It feels like they would have loved to put that cherry on top to add that fifth guy being Kewan Lacey. The contract's already been offered, it feels like. So I guess with him stalling and now Kevin Smith officially becoming at LSU, it does lead to think, or leads me to believe, that he might be in tow with a Kevin Smith, and also the same thing for Trinidad Chambliss. I know you cover the Ole Miss side as well, so how has all this been kind of, obviously you get the huge playoff win, that's kind of been the, trying to be the main focus. You see Pete Golding talk about Charlie Weis and his offense, and he calls the plays, he's going to LSU anyway. But how has this all been kind of received? Does it feel like more, that was the big one you had to get over, coaching a game without Lane Kiffin and getting a win?
Yeah, I feel like covering both sides, I almost look like a hypocrite at times just because I'm sitting here and talking about Lane Kiffin and talking about, the highs and lows of what he brings here. And then obviously if you're covering Ole Miss, you pretty much have to badmouth him because that's all they do on that side. So it's kind of like it's a mixed bag for me. You get that big time win over Mississippi State, clinch your spot in the college football playoff, and everybody's talking about Lane Kiffin leaving. And then you get this big win in the college football playoff, and everybody's talking about Kevin Smith leaving and talking about the staffers coming back to Baton Rouge. So it seems like anything good that happens with Ole Miss, it ultimately comes back to Lane Kiffin in some way, shape, or form. So for them, getting that win over Tulane is massive. Obviously, you come down to New Orleans and you play Georgia in what's going to be a really fascinating matchup. That rematch is going to be really fun. They lost by, 8 the first time around? So it's going to be exciting to see. They had a chance to really win that one in round 1 during the regular season. So I think that's going to be a heavyweight battle in the Sugar Bowl. But the Ole Miss side is confident, and they were confident with Pete Golding at the helm in this first-round matchup. And they're confident moving forward this year, obviously in the postseason, going into next year. Pete Golding's one hell of a coach, and he's really won over that locker room. And that's why you've seen a lot of those guys kind of re-sign, which is crazy to say in this college football era that people are re-signing in general. But nonetheless, you're seeing these players re-sign. You hinted at Kewan Lacey not necessarily re-signing yet. I'm sure there's a big-time offer on the table for him right now, so we'll see if he does take it. But, yeah, kind of, Lloyd, coming back to the full question, Ole Miss is confident in their college football playoff hopes moving forward. Georgia's up next. Pete Golding has really won over that fan base, and now it's about kind of to continue to put the Lane Kiffin stuff in the rearview mirror and move forward in this new era that they're in. So it's exciting times for Ole Miss. They're putting together one hell of a staff over there. Even if Lane Kiffin's not in Oxford, I'm fascinated to watch the next couple of years with them under Pete Golding, because I think he's a super respected coach who's doing some really good things already.
Right, and you've seen kind of the shedding of the Lane Kiffin skin whenever it comes to Pete Golding and all of the things that he kind of, I guess, points out in a subtle way. He's like, whenever they walked in for the press, he's like, you see something that's missing? Like, ain't no basketball goal here, it's football. And he's like, ain't no doing hot yoga, I like a cold beer. And so he's placating, even with the uniforms where they go back to the navy and grays, like kind of hearkening to the past of Ole Miss and winning over the fan base that way. So I'd imagine this is all very like strategic to kind of put that in the rear view and like let Pete Golding's trying to let them know that this is his program now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, all these little behind-the-scenes things that he's doing, like you said, the basketball goal, talking about hot yoga, getting the Mannings back in the building this week was a huge win for Ole Miss. To get Eli Manning on the sidelines pregame for the Tulane matchup. Archie Manning was there talking to the team before the college football playoff game. So there's a lot of pieces behind the scenes that they're doing that maybe Lane Kiffin did or didn't do. Obviously, the Mannings weren't necessarily involved as much, according to a lot of different reports, prior to like Lane Kiffin being there. So we'll see what ultimately happens moving forward, but Pete Golding is certainly going in and throwing indirect jabs at Lane Kiffin and kind of that old staff already. We saw what he said about Charlie Weis already, and that was a backhanded compliment in my opinion, kind of talking about the Lane Kiffin offense and saying that, you know, he's trying to flip the script and prove that he's the one who's building this offense over there at Ole Miss, and then ultimately once he gets to LSU. So a lot of backhanded compliments is the best way that I would say it.
And when I heard that compliment to Charlie Weis, the backhanded compliment, the biggest win is it's a win-win for LSU. Whether it was Lane Kiffin's offense or Charlie Weis's offense, in 2026 it's going to be LSU's offense, right?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying too. Like, no matter what, you're going to have both these dudes on your sideline in Baton Rouge in 2026. You're going to have Lane Kiffin, you're going to have Charlie Weis. So LSU faithful doesn't really give a damn whoever it is. I mean, either way, you're going to have those two guys in your corner, and you've seen him retain this entire offensive staff. And you add Kevin Smith to Lane Kiffin, to Charlie Weis, to George McDonald, to Joe Cox, Eric Walford. I mean, this is an elite offensive staff, and, you know, we've seen what Ole Miss has done offensively over the last couple of years, 5-6 years, that Lane Kiffin was up there in Oxford. You bring that entire core down here to Baton Rouge, and you pair that, obviously, with Blake Baker's defense. Dude, this is going to be fascinating. I mean, I respect Blake Baker. I think the whole world respects Blake Baker. But my goodness, you put Blake Baker's defense with this type of offense, and this is a recipe for success. I mean, Lane Kiffin deserves all the credit in the world for retaining Blake and then getting all of his Ole Miss guys down here. It sets the stage for a really exciting offseason and then gearing up for the 2026 season, of course.
Yeah, because I think same to your point exactly. That's how LSU fans watched the game on Saturday. You know, where you're riding this high of what the defense looked like this year and who Blake Baker is as he's returning. But then you watched Ole Miss versus Tulane kind of under the guise of, I'm watching this because this is what I expect to be in Baton Rouge a year from now. The offense that, the first drive they scored in 59 seconds, you know, with Chambliss and Lacey and that crew. You got to watch and you got all excited because of what you just witnessed in Baton Rouge. You're going to now witness that a year from now.
Yeah, I mean, you saw what Mike Duff's post was and stuff where they were talking about really good day to watch LSU's quarterback of the future and the running back and all these different pieces to it. Absolutely, man. You're sitting here watching what the future of LSU's offense could look like, and it's a crazy time that we're in. I mean, this is a blockbuster trade. Getting Kevin Smith officially over the finish line here to Baton Rouge, I mean, I think that's 18 staff members now that have been kind of passed around between these two sides. I think 13 to LSU, 5 back to Ole Miss. So this is a blockbuster trade. One, obviously, we talk about how I covered on both sides. I mean, I've been in hell. I mean, dude, I'm sitting here in my mentions, people talking this, DMs talking that, having to cover both sides of this thing is crazy. I look like a contradicting hypocrite. I mean, it is the funniest thing I've ever had to do in my life. And I'm so excited for it to finally be over in the middle of January, hopefully. So it has been so fun. It has been so crazy. But I'll tell you what, LSU, man, the future for LSU is so bright. Lane Kiffin is doing some really incredible things behind the scenes. You see him on Instagram. You see him on social media counting down the days until this transfer portal window. And Noah, back to your question, just watching what the potential future of this LSU offense will look like. You have a nice staff. Now it's about building out this roster. And will Quan Lacey be here? Will Trinidad Chambliss get the waiver and ultimately make the move to Baton Rouge? There's so many pieces that are yet to unfold. Yeah. It's going to be so fun to watch over these next couple of weeks because the future of LSU is so bright. And you're about to see this roster reconstruction really go into overdrive over the next couple of days and weeks, of course.
And to your point of how busy your life's been and the blockbuster trade you're talking about, really it's not over yet.
No.
Because and I'll ask you, I mean, you expect a lot, Ole Miss players to make their way to Baton Rouge, and potentially some guys from the LSU roster might make their way to Oxford, right?
Yeah, I think when I'm looking at the Ole Miss side potentially to follow Lane Kiffin, I think it starts with Quan Lacey. Yeah. I think we talked about this before, obviously. Obviously, nothing's ever set in stone. Ole Miss is in the middle of a college football playoff run. They're offering him a significant amount of money to remain in Oxford, of course, because he's an uber-talented player. They're going to do anything they can to keep him up there. I mean, Quan Lacey's special. And then you look at potentially Winston Watkins, a true freshman wide receiver, who's one that admires Lane Kiffin, and Lane Kiffin recruited him to Oxford. So I think those are two players that I'm definitely going to be keeping tabs on once this portal window opens to see what happens. So you're going to have a lot of other players, of course, right now. I mean, this is going to be one where this blockbuster trade is going to continue to kind of take shape. But those are the two on the Ole Miss side that I'm going to be watching. And then on the Ole Miss side, the LSU side to potentially Ole Miss following Frank Wilson and Austin Thomas, etc. Yeah, I think you're going to see some more players go that way as well, and it could be players that are already in the portal. So it's not over. There's a lot more pieces left on this one. It's going to be, I've said it a couple times, fascinating. I mean, that's the only word that I can use when I'm describing this entire situation. It is fascinating to watch how it's unfolded, and it's going to be incredible to watch these next couple of pieces over the next 4 to 5 weeks.
I think this illustrates mostly how kind of fundamentally broken college football is at this point, where it's become such of a talking point where you essentially, like you said, have a trade, and don't think that this is going to calm down anytime soon for you, bud. You got obviously the transfer portal, and then September 19th. So it's really you don't get much of a break. But on the portal front, how quickly do you expect things to move that day? Like when it's 12:01, do you expect to see names signed to LSU or Ole Miss signed players, or just transfer portal action in general? Because we're thinking about doing a 24-hour stream leading all the bowl games, then going into 12 o'clock, 12:01, expecting, because Lane Kiffin's let it be known that January 2nd is a huge day for him and a huge day for LSU.
First of all, that 24-hour stream would be sick.
Yeah.
Do that.
You're more than welcome to hop in.
Yeah, that'd be so cool. I'd jump in for sure, man. I think that'd be so cool. I do think you're going to see a lot of movement on day one. Will players be signed, sealed, delivered on day one? I'd like to say yes. I'd have to go back and see kind of how Lane's operated over these last couple of years, but I do think that you're going to see a lot of players start to kind of put pen to paper and make things official with LSU, just because the way this new era of college football, Lloyd, like you talked about, is crazy the way that we're in right now, all these different pieces. So, yeah, I would expect things to happen here. Having agents be able to talk kind of behind the scenes to LSU officials, I think it sets the stage for deals to probably already be close to agreed upon, if not already agreed upon. So I assume day one's going to have a lot of movement. How much movement, that's to be seen. But I do think that there will be some. And LSU's working behind the scenes. They're working these phone lines. They're making sure to have plans in place here, backup plans in place. They're ready to go out and sign some players. And I really expect during this transfer portal window to get at least 20 to 25 guys. That's really where I'm sitting at. I think LSU loses another 10 to 12 players, and I'd expect them to go out and fill the voids here and go and get at least 20 to 25. That's really where I'm sitting at right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. The other staff addition that's not across the finish line yet, seems like it's moving that direction. But obviously we're all very hesitant with how the Elijah Robinson thing played out. It seems like he's going to A&M. But Sterling Lucas seems to have been circled as the next defensive line coach at LSU, coming over from South Carolina. What does he bring to the table for the Tigers, and how big of a hire will this be for Lane Kiffin?
Yeah, I think once that gets over the finish line, that's a pretty big hire for this team, and it's another SEC assistant. You talk about a lot of the guys on this staff, pretty much all of them already have SEC experience. You retain the entire defensive staff already. Now you bring in potentially Sterling Lucas, one that's obviously developed the likes of Dylan Stewart, helped recruit Nick Harbor, a 5-star wideout over there to Columbia, South Carolina. He has tremendous recruiting prowess. He's really, really talented on that side of things, and he's great from a developmental perspective too. I think you pair him alongside Kevin Peoples on the defensive line, it's a recipe for success. I think Kevin Peoples has done a really good job with his edge unit right now, and now obviously you bring in, of course, Sterling Lucas, who has a lot of experience with edge rushers already. You bring him in to do the same thing with the defensive line on the interior front. You're in a good spot. This is one that is highly respected. You saw the way that South Carolina fans melted once that buzz started to circulate about him potentially making his way to Baton Rouge. So I think that speaks volumes. It's a tremendous get if they get over the finish line. The current expectation is that it does. And once that happens, it's a big-time hire. And you're kind of finalizing this staff, that on-field staff for Lane Kiffin, and it's a star-studded staff. I mean, it looks absolutely fantastic on paper.
Is it, and I know I asked you about the schedule last week, but is it difficult to have as high expectations as it feels like we can or maybe should because of the staff that's been put together, the potential roster that you can add in and retain because of how difficult that schedule is in 2026?
Yeah, I think when you look at what this staff already looks like and you look at the money that they have to go and build out a transfer portal class paired with the potential returning pieces already, I mean, it's hard to not have high expectations. I mean, this is Lane Kiffin that we're talking about. He built an Ole Miss program from scratch and built them into a college football playoff team. It's hard to not assume that year one with LSU can't be special. I really do think that he's going to do some really good things during his first season in Baton Rouge. We've talked about the treasure chest full of roster cash that he's going to be working with. They're going big game hunting, man. They're going out there and they're looking for some big time names, some big time splashes. There's a reason that he's teasing on social media this transfer portal window, because he already knows what they're going to do. He already knows that they're going to go make, kind of do some damage rather. So, yeah, when I talk about expectations for the 2026 season, it's hard to not have them up extremely high. The staff is star-studded. They're going to get a star-studded roster to pair with it. You bring in potential additions from the Ole Miss side to LSU. If all of that goes in the right direction, it's hard to not be really high on what this team can look like in 2026. And, of course, you don't know who the quarterback is. You don't know all these other bits and pieces to it. But when you have Lane Kiffin, quarterback guru, one that can develop a D2 quarterback into a Heisman Trophy top 10 voting kind of guy, man, it's hard to not be excited about what this team's going to look like next fall.
And on that note, if obviously it feels like the quarterback, running back position, maybe, I don't want to say so much in limbo, it's going to be trending in your direction. What other positions is LSU looking at? You obviously hear Braylon Moore is going to play in the bowl game at center. He didn't walk out on senior night, so you would expect him maybe to come back for LSU at the center position. That would be a great, I guess, piece to add. You saw Cohen Eccles Carius Curran hit the portal, but also there's, just because you're in it doesn't mean you can't come back. We saw that with Sage Ryan. And so what other position groups are you kind of highlighting for LSU as like positions of need that they could address in the portal?
Yeah, I'm watching that wide receiver room like crazy. And I know that's a pretty casual spot because it's a skill position spot, but I'll tell you what, man, that unit is thin. You lose Kylan Billiard and Jelani Watkins to the portal, and then you lose, of course, Xavion Thomas, Barrion Brown, Chris Hilton, Aaron Anderson, all to the draft. I mean, you're already losing 7-8 guys already this offseason. You bring back on paper right now only 5. I believe, if my memory's telling me, it's Teron Francis, Phillip Wright, Nick Anderson, Kyle Parker, and one more. Man, you're thin in that room right now. So you got to go out there and you got to hit the portal. And you got to go get some experienced players. You got to go get a true wide receiver one. I love Kyle Parker. I think Kyle Parker's an extremely talented wide receiver, but I'm not quite sure he's wide receiver one for LSU right now. So you got to go and find a true wide receiver one. You have to go out there and get some depth pieces, and you got to go get some experienced players on this roster in the wide receiver room, because we know that Lane Kiffin likes to throw the football, and he has to go get some wide receivers to back that. So when I'm looking at potential portal positions of need on offense, it starts with the wide receiver room, but that goes without saying that you got to retool the O-line. I mean, obviously the wide receiver room is not a priority number one. You got to go attack the O-line, but what I'm looking at personally is what they can do in the wide receiver room, because that portal market's going to be really fun to watch.
A question from the chat, hashtag Ask Zach, Fonz asks, if we have a $20 million rev share and we were thinking they're going to sign 20 plus from the portal, how do you think that money is broken down, and is there more money that we can use?
Yeah, I think when you look at the rev share piece, that's $20 million divided between all sports, based off kind of what I believe is the case. And then you take 13 to 15 million of it to football, and then you look at the donor base, what they can do on that front, and that gives you roughly 25 to 30 million dollars to work with. That's where that money is going to come from, the donor base. So I think that you divvy it up the way that they've done it in the past by the Austin Thomas method. He went up to Seattle and met with the Seahawks and talked about their roster cap and how they've divvied up different position groups. The way that LSU operates is that quarterbacks are divvied up this percentage, running backs this percentage, and they operate in an NFL type of salary cap. So that's a lot of BS talk for you're going to pay the best players the money that they're due, and you're going to make it work no matter how you can do it. And I think that's what they're going to do.
Yeah. Well, Zach, we appreciate your time, all your insight, and I know it's been a long couple of weeks for you, and I wish it would slow down soon, but I don't think it's going to. So best of luck to you, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, man, it's fun. I love it. I love covering both sides. It's an exciting time. We'll talk soon. I think we'll have a lot to talk about in the next couple of weeks. And, man, I hope y'all do that 24-hour stream. I think that'd be sick.
Oh, you're booked.
Oh, yeah, no, we already signed it. We already
we'll get back with you. Yeah.
Penciled you in.
Well, you're in the portal.
Let's do it.
Sounds good.
Let's do it. I'm in.
Hell yeah.
Perfect. We'll talk
Thank
to you
man.
again.
All right, guys. I'll catch y'all later.
Yep.
Later.
There he is, Zack Naggie, covering LSU and Ole Miss for Sports Illustrated. He's the best. Now, we appreciate every time he comes through and lays down some insight for us, but I can only imagine, you can see it on his face when he talks about it, what the last month has been for him, where he's like, I've got to be as genuine on this side as I am on this side, which has got to be, because, see, we're lucky. We're covering one side, and not only is it just one side, it's LSU. It's what we've grown up loving. So there's like, because I was thinking about it the other day, like if I ever, like if somebody came to me and was like, hey, do you want to do Locked On Syracuse? I was like, I mean, I could do it. Like I could report on it, but it's like, it's not the same. Like I'm not going to be able to say, well, you remember that Syracuse game back in 2014? Well, I can tell you about Syracuse 2015.
Right.
When Leonard Fournette took the little backward pitch from Brandon Harris up sideline. I can say that's about it.
Yeah, they played at home, and Greedy Williams picked off the first pass they threw.
Right,
and that's another situation. Like, God, she needs to score.
Yeah, but like that's how we're lucky. We get to talk about the one that we've basically covered our whole life.
Right.
He's having to be that on this side, and I can't even.
And they've intertwined.
Yes,
and it's not.
It's like, guess what? On this end, I'm saying like Lane Kiffin's actually great, and they don't want to hear that. They want to hear the opposite. They don't want to.
And Pete Golding can be a very good replacement. As Lane Kiffin, as good as he is on the offense, that's what you get with Pete Golding in the defense. And then these people are insane, so they're watching both. Go, no, he said LSU absolutely won with the Lane Kiffin hiring, and I don't know what Ole Miss is going to look like. It's like so they're finding out, like they're going into the other bedroom to see what he's doing, and they're like, oh. What he's saying to us is just lip service, and then on LSU's side, it's like, yeah, I mean, that's probably the right way to go about it.
And there might
but there's some positives on the Ole Miss side. You're in the playoff.
Yeah, and there might not be a better voice for this situation than him. Like, to come and talk about it on either side where it's like, he's informed fully on both ends. You know what I mean?
He went to, he's from Louisiana.
That's why I love having him on, because he
can be measured.
About it. Not only does he know maybe who LSU is going to target, he knows everything about him because they've been at Ole Miss. So we appreciate Zach coming through, and I love that
he's wonder what he's all in on the 24-hour stream.
He's all in on the 24-hour stream. So go ahead and mark your calendars. Wyatt came up with a great idea. From 10 to 11 post-show pregame, we're going to do hot yoga here it might not be hot yoga, but it'll be yoga here in the studio. I'll bring yoga mats. And maybe I'll reach out to one of the yoga companies here in Baton Rouge.
Yoga Lattes.
You want to come into a free class?
Yeah.
And do it live on stream.
Maybe Lane will come.
Maybe so. Oh, no, he's going to be busy. It's going to be...
Not yet.
Not yet.
He's still going to do it regardless.
Of course.
Make it 2 days. Extra limber.
I would be awful at yoga.
Yeah, that's what it's
Not
for.
flexible whatsoever.
Well, yeah, it'll get you right.
But it'll be a fun day. We're excited about that. January 1st. We'll start 2026 off with a 24-hour stream. And technically 26 hours, because we'd be going from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. the next day, because we'd be rolling right into the 8 to 10 a.m. show.
Yeah, so I'm sure it'll be nothing you haven't heard before. But then tune in if you tune in just at 8.
Hey,
you'll get some new information.
Just be prepared.
Because anything can hit the wire. Reminds me of when T-Bob started at Barstool and they did college football, try to win a national championship,
Yes.
and he ended up going exactly that, 24 hours straight into mostly sports, where he showed up. He's like, I don't even know where I am.
No, I don't know what's going on right now.
Yeah, I've just been staring at a video game, but I'm still awake. I'm still alive. And so that's what it'll feel like. It does end up with a what day is that? Monday to Tuesday?
It would be Thursday to Friday.
Oh, I get to stay for Mic'd Up.
Yeah. Oh, it's cool, buddy. And Wednesday night before that Thursday morning, you might as well just crash here Wednesday night.
Yeah. If anybody can do it.
You can pull it off.
Yeah.
I believe in you. But a couple of two claps this morning that we haven't done. We haven't done these in a while because it's been so hectic. But the LSU offense deserves two claps. By that I mean, like we just spoke about, the offense you witnessed on the field in Oxford, Mississippi on Saturday. That is the LSU offense and should, like Zach and we said, get you very fired up for what 2026 could look like. Shout out to Charlie Weis Jr., him and Lane Kiffin's offense, which is LSU's offense. Two claps. Ready. Also over the weekend, LSU men's basketball, not the prettiest win, but got a 78-65 win over Southeastern, I believe, Friday night. And they will play Prairie View A&M tonight. But shout out to the boys as they won on Friday over Southeastern and moved forward to, I think, 10-1. They deserve two claps. Ready. LSU women's basketball also wins. They won 110-45 and got back to their 100-point ways as they dominated against UT Arlington. Had too many turnovers, but handled business, 110 points to 45 points, and an impressive dominating victory. Two claps. Ready.
Flage was very impressive.
Very impressive. You know who else was impressive? It was Grace Knox.
Yes, continues to be.
Continues to be impressive. I think this was her best performance yet. I'm going to get her final stats. I think she had 24 and 12 was her final tally. Let's see if I can pull that up here. Yeah, Grace Knox, 25 and 12, 10 of 18 from the field. You also got 23 from Malaysia. And Flage had 14, 4 assists. She was 6 of 10 from the field. Amaya Joyner, 14 and 11. Huge victory for the Tigers. Got to see a lot of those freshmen get out there and ball.
I don't know if huge.
I mean, they won by.
Oh yeah, huge.
Win. Not a monumental victory,
right?
But a huge win.
They have got to be ready to play some competition.
Yeah,
I mean, they're having as much fun as you can.
But there is a level, they are competitors. I was talking to Max about the other because he was asking me. He was like, "It's gotta suck just playing." I was like, it's gotta be fun, like, because you get to go out and
roll out of bed.
You're just having a good time with the court, and I know this staff and this team is locked in. Like, they're not going out there just to play with their food. Like, they're as competitive against lower level competition as humanly possible.
Yeah, they're not judging you off the opponent. They're judging off solo effort.
Right. And so, but as a competitor, you have to be foaming at the mouth thinking about a week from now when it's going to be Vandy, Kentucky, Oklahoma, Texas. Like, it's going to be like, this is why you come to LSU.
Right.
For those games against top 15 opponents, top 10, top 3, Texas number 2 in the country. In just a couple of weeks, it's going to be exciting to see that kick off. Tip off.
Where's LSU ranked?
In women's basketball, 5. They've stayed put at 5.
Yeah.
And I think
that's fair.
And I think the NCAA's handled it perfectly. The net, they've dropped a little bit, but ranking-wise, they've stayed put. Because they are one of the 5 best teams in the country. I think that everyone can acknowledge that. But I'm not going to move them up or down based on level of opponent. And from a net ranking perspective, they can go as low as they want now. You win 3 out of 4 of those first 4 games, you're up to top 5. Because you're playing the SEC schedule, which is upper echelon competition. So
it's the same thing that good college coaches do, whether it be Will Wade, Jay Johnson, Kim Mulkey. They all know the game.
Yes.
Like, so you can be pissed off, right, wrong, or indifferent. Like, this is how scheduling works if you want to be one of those teams at the end.
Right.
Where it's, I know we're not playing the highest level of competition. You sprinkle one in if you win that. Like, LSU doesn't play very good competition in baseball at the beginning of the year. They'll go to a tournament.
Purdue, Fort Wayne.
Right, and they'll get, like, this is what it looks like. And then when you get to that, like, you'll play one or two before you get into conference play. But they know that the weight of the conference means so much that not only we got to see what we have here because Jay loves to, all right, what works, what doesn't, get to try them out at a bunch of different spots, see what it looks like in competition. But when push comes to shove and you're in the SEC, you better have an idea of what you want and where. And Will Wade did the same thing where he'd be like, I could show you the numbers of why I'm doing what I'm doing. Like, it's not my fault that it's not entertaining for you, but it'll be entertaining at the end of the year. And is that not why we're all here?
Well, and that's the thing about the way, especially in college basketball, if you can beat somebody that's going to win their conference. So it's not a Power 4 conference. It's a lower level conference. But if they win their conference, they're in the tournament. So you're beating a tournament team. You know, I remember Will Wade played Liberty in that last season he was here. Like they weren't on LSU's level, but they were probably going to win their conference. So you play that game because that's a tournament team. That's a team that you could run into. You know, LSU this year, they played Drake. They played DePaul. They played Omaha. Those teams are not SEC level,
but
those are teams that were in the tournament last year. Mm-hmm. And Drake upset somebody in the first round. You know, like that's teams that can maybe win their conference, which will be a good bump for you, but also preparation for you could run into that week 1 of the tournament if you make it. You know, being prepared for those things. All of those things, even if the level of competition's not to the same level, they do play a factor. And everything's done with a rhyme or reason when you know ball. And basketball is one of the few sports where the logo might not mean much, but they could have a player that's you could be scouting. Like, you know what, actually, I mean, Markel Sutton was on that Omaha team last year that made the tournament as a 10 seed, I believe. You know,
ends up at LSU.
And he ends up at LSU. So it's going to be fun to watch. I'm excited for January to get here because you're going from the portal opening up to SEC men's and women's college basketball is going to be awesome. And honestly, let's just check the schedule on that. We might end up just being live the entire month of January, never turn the stream off because LSU women's basketball, their first game, I'll let you guess, Thursday, January 1st at 7 p.m. We'll fire that up on the television along with the Sugar Bowl, which will be live at the same time. So you also get to watch us watch LSU women's basketball, which will be in the PMAC against Kentucky, but we'll be here in studio. So you'll get to see that. And then LSU men's basketball, their first game is on January 3rd, so we won't have to stretch all the way to January 3rd for that. We'll let Lloyd catch up on his sleep. January 2nd, after mic'd up in that's the lunch show, 12 to 2, at 2 p.m. You might sleep all the way. Yeah, 1 to 3. You might sleep all the way to the next
whatever
Monday.
The next show is. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And also the December 27th, this Saturday, I believe that's this Saturday, right? LSU versus Houston in the bowl game. We will be live from Golf Suites for the final watch party of the year. We will bring the Free My Boy jersey for all of you to sign if you make your way over, as we'll be live from the Golf Suites bar. As that game kicks off late, I think 7:15, 7:15, something like that. It's a night kick, so it'll be a late night in the Golf Suites bar.
They love it.
8:15 p.m. Late kick, but it'll be great for you to go play a little bit of golf in the evening time, hit some balls, and then you can walk right into the bar. Come join us, watch LSU football, as you'll get a really good look at some of the youth on this team.
I bet you give away penny shots for touchdowns. I don't know if anybody's going to get to drink. I mean, you have nobody.
And it'll be very intriguing to see what it looks like. Your offensive line not going to look too much different. I believe from left to right, it'll be Tyree Adams, Cohen Eccles, Braylon Moore, Paul Mabanga, Weston Davis.
With the idea of Carius Kern, who's still practicing.
Carius Kern and Ori Williams both will be around and about. We'll see how that looks. At quarterback, Michael Van Buren. At tight end, you've got all three of those guys. Green, Sharp. At wide receiver, or running back, Caden Durham, Harlan Berry, you got both of them. Jawan Johnson will still be around. Caleb Jackson, I would assume, maybe also around as well. Wide receiver, I think, is the most intriguing position because no Aaron Anderson. You will also, I don't know if Barryon Brown has announced if he is or isn't playing. We'll see. But you'll have Chris Hilton, Xavion Thomas. But I'm really interested to see how much run Phillip Wright gets. and more importantly, Teron Francis, man-child. I want to see how much run they get, because that might be something where Kiffin was like, hey, let me see what those guys look like on the field to decide where they kind of shake out in this whole
Same
mix.
with Nick Anderson.
Nick Anderson as well. And then you go to the defensive side. Defensive line looks about the same, because you'll have Bernard Good and Jacobian Guillory on the inside, on the interior.
Is Bernard Good going to play?
He hasn't said he's not.
Okay.
And then you'll have no Jack Pyburn. Patrick Payton, I believe, is playing. Jamari Butler is playing. Obviously, no Gabe Relaford as he recovers. So you have 2 guys, but then you'll see, I'm sure, Dylan Carpenter, Kalaj Cobbins, C.J. Jackson all get some run at edge rusher. Dominic McKinley, Ahmad Bro, I believe, is still playing. You'll see those guys on the interior. Linebacker will be intriguing. Tylen Singleton, Devon Keys get a really good look at both of those guys.
Because you will have no West Weeks, no Whit Weeks, no
Harold Perkins,
no Perk,
who will be replaced by Jordan Gilbert at star.
Who has another year, doesn't he not?
Yes, he only played 4 games this year. This doesn't count to it, so he can redshirt. And we'll see. I think his plan was to enter the portal, but we'll see how that goes. But I think the 2 positions I'm interested to see the most, wide receiver, see if they get Wright and Francis some run, and then to really get a look at Devon Keys and Tylen Singleton at linebacker.
No A.J. Halsey.
No A.J. Halsey.
Has Tamarcus Cooley announced anything?
Tamarcus Cooley, I think, is playing. He hasn't announced anything. Deshaun Spears, you'll see. You'll have Pickett and Woodland at the cornerback spot, which, I mean,
it's fine.
Beautiful. But linebacker's interesting to me because you were so old there. You know what I mean? Like, you were experienced. Obviously, potential for Witt to return, but Devon, Tylen, C.J. Ross, Jaden Breaker, Zach Weeks, Keelan Moses, those guys, see what that looks like on that side of the ball. Very, very interesting. P-Dub asked, pertaining to this bowl game, what/how much does Lane Kiffin have his hands on? I really don't think all that much. I think this is just kind of let this run its course. The only thing to me that potentially he would have any weight on is maybe who he wants to see on the field. Yeah. Maybe put this guy in that situation. Let me see what these young guys look like. I think defensive side of the ball, hands off, Blake Baker, handle that. You know your guys, same staff, take care of business. But the offensive side of the ball, maybe asking for, hey, split Trey-Dez out wide. Let me see what it looks like with him running as a true wide receiver. Teron Francis, Phillip Wright, some of those different pieces just to get a look at it. So,
yeah, the only thing we've seen from Lane regarding anything with the bowl is that he was just there. Like, he didn't have a play sheet. He wasn't doing any of the...
Just watching.
Yeah, he was just watching. And so me and Jay Mitch talked about this. It was like, how involved is he versus how involved should he be? And if you're Lane, it's kind of like, like Frank Wilson will coach that team.
Yes.
So it's very much like, this is not my team, because I don't want to tie my name to any of this. The offense is putrid. It's going to be none of the same players, essentially, unless you get the ones that you want to come back. But I think if he's doing anything, it's just to get, if he has one iota of a say, it's to, I'd like to see the young guys. If you don't do it, that's fine. But I don't think he's actually being very bullish on what they do.
It's not his team.
No, I mean, Brian Kelly was there. He was in the booth.
Right. And, I mean, I just think, like, when you look at, like, the team you're going to see, especially the offensive side of the ball on Saturday, it's going to be completely different next season.
Oh, I meant to ask Zach about how the staff thing is going to work.
What do you mean?
Well, with them being...
is
it sheerly just recruiting and portal?
Oh, yeah.
Because they are technically... I guess they're hired too, but feels like they have more room maybe because Joe Sloan's gone.
Right.
So there's spots for people to insert themselves into what you want to do offensively, but
there is.
I doubt that would be the case. It all seems like this is all very much gunning for
January
recruiting
2nd.
And transfer portal.
January 2nd, like literally.
It would be hilarious if the offense looked totally different. Like you saw some of what Ole Miss did.
Yeah, that would be
like, oh hell yeah!
And we're just sitting there in golf suites. We're expecting the same old
dink and dunk,
teeth pulling of an offense, and then it's like,
oh,
what's that?
This looks good. Scored in 3 plays.
Yeah, what's going on?
It would scored on an opening drive yet.
But I wouldn't hold your breath on that.
No.
But I will say, to Zach's point when he was talking about it,
Van Buren's got to stay.
The conversation around January 2nd, like, everyone seems so sure of it. Like,
Yeah.
This is going to be, and it's just like,
I've been burned so many times
gonna
I can't feel my fingers. Like a chef.
got no fingerprints.
Yeah. Gnawed them off.
What's gonna it's gonna be crazy, and that's why we're gonna be live for 24 hours.
I mean, if it's the
to watch
first,
it all.
if it's like Dylan Stewart to LSU, Nick Harper to LSU.
If we're sitting here at 12:10 a.m. on January 2nd, just with our sleeping bags and air mattresses out on the floor, and that noti comes across that Dylan Stewart is going to LSU,
Yeah, I have to turn the cameras off.
this place
It'll
might
go
be
from
crazy.
hot tea to champagne real quick. Because now they've built it up to where you expect something.
You expect fireworks, like, for it to be crazy. And so I will say, if you are in the Discord, in the show suggestions kind of, what would it be, chat, get in there, throw some ideas at us for the 24-hour stream, and just some of the things y'all would maybe want to see or like to see or think would just be entertaining. So we can really start to, I want y'all to have some say in this because y'all are going to watch it. To add on to some of the things we're already working on, because this is set in stone. It's done now. We're doing
Yeah,
it.
Jonathan has
It's
the
happening.
karaoke machine. He got one
Perfect.
for his birthday.
We're going to bring the Xbox. We'll have the Oculus. Let Wyatt play quarterback. Let Christian get back there and take some snaps.
Hole-in-one stream.
Hole-in-one stream. Sleeping bags, air mattresses. We'll get food. We'll do the hot yoga. We'll get AJ Sports cards to rip some packs open. We might get CAS to build a roof in here.
Yeah, a little mini roof.
Yeah, whatever.
Gingerbread house.
Whenever we can pull off. Throw some ideas at us in the Discord. If you're not in it, the link should be in our description to join the Discord. So make sure you hop in there, show suggestions, chat, give us some ideas, some things y'all want to see as we go live for 24 hours on January 1st. The
30.
only way Tingle & Co. will kick off 2026. Can't wait. I'm excited now. This is going to be quite the long time
Sight.
for you.
Oh, yeah,
But
whatever.
we'll get some energy drinks in here.
I have my own ways.
We'll pull this thing off.
Yeah.
We'll make this thing happen. So any ideas you guys have, let us know. But we will right now play some games as well and go and connect athletically, as well as 13 for 13 and 9 for 9 with some of that trivia at the end. Let's see. I think we've got some 24-hour stream ideas rolling in right now. Let's see. Some of the boys are in.
Come on.
Let's see what we can make happen.
Try to make a gumbo.
Christian and his roommate Luke, they made a great gumbo.
Knock it out. After they went to the grocery.
The grocery, yeah. Shut up.
Such a fun word. Just an old school word.
Oh, I'm just going to I'm just pop by the grocery.
Antiquated word, groceries.
Need some Saints talk. Yeah, we can't talk about that. We did see they deserve 2 claps.
Oh, absolutely.
3 claps, actually, because it's 3 wins in a row for Tyler Shuck and the New Orleans Saints as they take down the Jets, who are not very good, but you got to get it how you live. 29-6, they win yesterday. 3 claps. Ready. As the Saints have now defeated the Buccaneers 24-20, the Panthers 20-17, and the Jets 29-6, and will have 2 games remaining to potentially close this thing out on a hot streak.
Both away, right?
Yes, in Tennessee for the Titans, winnable game.
Sure.
And then you close out in Atlanta against the Falcons. Would love to cap
This
the
would be
season
nice.
off with a little rivalry win. But shout out to Tyler Shuck and the Saints, as yesterday he puts together, let's see, his numbers. He was 32 of 49. That is a lot of passes. 308 yards and a touchdown. And I also want to give 7 claps to Taysom Hill, who may have played his final game in the Dome yesterday. And I tell you what, he is the first NFL player ever, 1,000 passing yards, 1,000 rushing yards, 1,000 receiving yards, which is really crazy when you think about it. Like, of course it's the first player ever to do it. Like,
First play in the Super Bowl era. There was some other guy that did it pre-Super Bowl.
Whatever.
It doesn't count. I don't want to.
No
we can't prop it up.
Yeah.
And then poo-poo it.
No, but
I don't know how many people were throwing for 1,000 yards before
The Super Bowl era.
before the Hunts got involved.
There you go. But Taysom Hill, 7 claps, ready. If that is the end of the Taysom Hill run, it has been some of the most entertaining football I've ever seen from a single player. Just in the fact that you never know what's going to happen. Besides, when you get inside the 10-yard line and he's lined up at quarterback, Cuz is putting his shoulder down and running with somebody's
tighten
face.
up your chin strap. But, I mean, is it far-fetched to say that he should be a Hall of Famer?
It is far-fetched, but...
Because nobody's ever done what he's done.
I mean, definitely like Saints Ring of Honor. Saints.
No, no doubt. I mean,
1,000%.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it last night or yesterday afternoon after I watched it. I was like, obviously he gets the monumental. They were trying to get him a touchdown.
Right,
like they lined up at wide receiver. Yeah, touchdown gets called back.
Yeah.
And then they get the ball back, and it's like they ran it to Taysom Hill twice. He had like 20 carries in that game, something, and then they line him up at trick play. Quarterback throws a touchdown. Right. And you're like, okay, there's the send off that they were looking for. And you get the picture of him jogging into the tunnel.
Gets choked up in the post-game
presser. And he wasn't going to, and then he was just like, my wife asked me that, and I was like, oh, I mean, it's been great. I don't know what and he's like, when I was driving to the dome, it like all hit me. It was like how long I've been here, the people, the city of New Orleans. He was like trying very hard not to cry.
Right.
I was like, I mean, that's what the city can do to you. That's what New Orleans can do to you. And it's like, I don't think he knows if it's done yet, but that very much felt like a send-off.
Yeah.
Because you have to turn the page eventually with the Saints and Kellen Moore, like have to figure this thing out, and it can't be hold on to Taysom Hill.
And for Taysom's the well-being of his body. I mean, he has put his body through.
He's Hercules.
It is impressive.
And also, the same can be said for Cam Jordan, who gets 2 sacks.
Yes.
And it was like this very much like he had his whole family in his suite.
Where does he rank all time?
But it felt like that was a send-off for Cam Jordan as well. So they are very much like DeMario Davis. I don't know what you do with him, but it's like this the team that always had a window. It feels like you're closing the window and hopefully opening up another window. But it was an odd like kind of celebration of the past, and then to see them all have the best games of the season was a cool send off. And the golds look good for some reason.
The khakis.
Yeah, the khakis, the Carhartts.
He's got 130 career sacks, which puts him at number 17 all time, and he is 2.5 behind Lawrence Taylor at 15.
I think he wants that.
Which, I mean, and this is the thing. Who's the last team on the schedule?
Falcons.
Break that record in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium against the team he has on.
He has hated the most.
If he's got 130 sacks, I feel like 70 of them have come against the Atlanta Falcons, and majority of those being Matt Ryan, because for some reason he just can't quit the Falcons. But yeah, it did feel kind of like the closing of a book and a beautiful ending of it all. So we'll see kind of how that shakes out. In addition to that, 4 claps for the New Orleans Pelicans. 4 straight wins. As Zion scores 29 and 23.
Now we're talking.
Off the bench, Derek Queen had a double-double on 8 of 8 shooting from the field. Looks like a good pick there for sure. 4 claps. Ready. New Orleans is streaking right now. Let's close this thing out with some athletic connections and some trivia.
Is there any chance they can make the playoffs?
The Pels?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
they'd have to get real hot.
They'd have to get hot. Like, I mean, they're
running
right
out of
now.
time.
They could make the play-in, though.
They could maybe scratch the play-in. Let's see, NBA standings. So they currently sit tied for last.
Okay, never mind.
With the Kings.
Mm-hmm.
But they are only 5.5 games out of the play-in. Because the West is not very good. They're sitting at 7-22, which is tough. Because, I mean, to be 500, you go, 82 games? 41 and 41. Which means they would have to close the season on a 34 and 19 run.
But you don't necessarily need to get to 500. Like, I think the year they traded for CJ and made the play-in, they were like 34 and 48.
Right. So, I mean,
which is doable.
And right now, they're 7-22, and Portland is the 10 seed in the play-in at 12 and 16. So 5.5 games behind them. 6.5 games behind the 9 seed. Huh?
People are watching this.
Isn't it crazy?
I got mad on Saturday night because my friends turned off the Oregon game to put on the Pels, and I was like, "What are we doing here?
Yeah,
this is ridiculous."
Well, the Oregon game,
That was more entertaining.
Probably.
That's what I wanted to watch.
JMU was making a run.
They were about to mess up my bet.
Yeah.
I cashed out early.
Good job. Let's see. We've got Kyler Murray, Carson Palmer.
Looking for USC quarterbacks.
I was thinking Arizona Cardinal quarterbacks, but maybe USC quarterbacks.
Arnold. That's Sam Darnold.
Could it be number 1 picks? Was Cal Ripken a number 1 pick?
I don't know.
Okay, quarter, inning, half, and period will be the last. Will be the final, I think, period, the last one of those 4. Then we've
This
got.
is tough. It's tough from over here.
Chip, back heel, cross.
Okay.
Yeah, this is.
See, but I don't know what the last one
And then
is.
a give and go.
Something soccer, I
Like
guess.
a give and go.
Beautiful.
And then you've got.
Art Briles. Chip Briles.
I don't know about that. Chip is also gone.
Where'd he go? Hey.
Art? Off?
This has to be like it's missing a letter or something.
Yeah.
Sojourner Weaver. Alien.
Sojourner.
Okay, yep. Arnold, Art, off. Darnold, May, Dart, golf.
Yeah.
Wow.
I knew it was something.
One of these
The
number 1
Darnold
overall
was
picks.
sticking in my head.
Hall of Fame Orioles.
Sojourner Weaver. Dale Murray. Cal. Let's see what's ugly.
No, P-Dub, don't replace the Pels. I love the Pels. Oh, gosh.
It's hard to see from over here.
It's hard to see anywhere you look at it.
Is it the girl? No.
Who is the female? So I feel like we should identify first.
It's still the man's ears.
No, it's not. You think?
Well, those are huge.
Maybe she has big ears. Don't hate.
The female could be anybody, I feel like.
With blonde hair.
I'm getting a Kristen Bell kind of vibe, maybe.
Think?
I don't know. I'm not very confident about the woman.
Who's the other girl that said Easy A?
Emma Stone?
Maybe.
I don't think
She's
that's
usually
Emma
red.
Stone.
She's usually red hair.
I
Yeah.
know.
Could it be ScarJo?
See, that was my first thought. Was Scarlett Johansson?
We need a bigger bust.
Jennifer Lawrence says chef.
I think Jennifer Lawrence is
Okay, Johnny L. Goodson said Robert Redford and Scarlett Johansson.
All right.
See, ScarJo was my first thought. Scarlett Jost.
Who was the other one?
And then Robert Redford. Who is Rob Redford?
Robert Redford is in a bunch of. Is he in?
Yeah, that's right. It was ScarJo.
Yeah, I think that was.
Oh, I know Robert Redford.
Jennifer Lawrence is a bit bigger than that, respectfully.
Yeah.
Let's go
That
NFL.
wasn't her stature.
Kicker Younghoe Koo became the 4th South Korean-born NFL player when he debuted with this AFC West team. And who did he play for before the Falcons?
Not the
I want to say it was the
Chargers.
Chargers.
AFC West. That would be the AFC West.
I'm not super confident in it.
I am.
It sounds right.
I think
Chargers.
it's the Chargers.
I could get with that. Let's go. NBA.
Young boy.
This shooting guard got, what does that say?
Bought out of his contract in 2025, but in 2020 and 2021, he averaged over 30 points per game for an East team. That would be
Chris
Bradley
Paul?
Beal.
Bradley Beal.
Yeah. Got bought out of his contract with the Suns.
I thought he was so good too.
He was.
I mean, he was.
He was when him and John Wall in like 2016.
They're
Yeah.
dangerous.
They were fun to watch.
His fall off was just tough.
Yeah. Both of them.
Yeah. At 41 years old, legendary pitcher Satchel Paige finally made his MLB debut in 1948 with this American League franchise.
Satchel Paige.
Jimmy Page, Robert Plant, AC/DC. Satchel Paige.
The only team that comes to mind with Satchel Paige is the Dodgers,
Me
and
too.
they're
Right.
not in the AL.
Yeah, that was the.
But could they have been then?
It could have been the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Okay, let's see what the chat. See if old Johnny L. Goods can hop in here and get his fourth question right.
Brooklyn? They have Brooklyn Dodgers?
Cleveland Guardians.
Oh.
Interesting.
So, they get castigated for one thing, but not applauded for another.
There you go.
Crazy how the world works, huh?
That is.
The Keystone State, Quaker State, and Coal State are nicknames for what U.S. state?
Quaker State.
That's
West Virginia?
That's what I was about to say. I thought it was
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, where's that, that Quaker oatmeal?
Yeah, I think that's Pennsylvania.
Yeah, they were the. Said that. Bang. Yeah, I
Nice.
thought so too. Love
Coal
the Quaker
State.
oatmeal.
Eat more chicken is the slogan for what fast food chain?
Burger King.
Chick-fil-A. I'm about to eat this.
The second best.
Chick-fil-A.
Oh. The second best.
Mandela effect.
The second best fast food
It
restaurant.
does have, oh, it's because they write it with no C, right?
No,
Is
they
it-
write it with a C, but
Oh.
you think there's no C.
There's a C in it? I had
is.
no
Yeah,
idea.
Mandela effect, that's true.
With Australia as the new temporary setting, this CBS series had a massive season 2 debut after the Super Bowl in 2001.
I believe this is NCIS.
Yeah.
I was going to say Survivor.
No, it would be season 2 in 2001, would it?
What?
Survivor.
NCIS. Yeah, no. NCIS, I'm pretty sure, has been my whole life.
Because remember, we talked about Australia, and I was like, where's the water?
Right.
Like, it's surrounded by
Or wait,
water.
no, Johnny L. Goodson says Survivor.
Okay.
So maybe you're right.
It has been 25 years.
The
Yeah, so I guess
Australia
that would be-
was the part that got me. That
Okay.
seems like a I
I
don't
feel like NCIS has done a new season in every.
Survivor would be a great day. They must have had a smashing season 1. Like, let's put it after the Super Bowl.
NCIS does have an Australia.
Yeah. Let's do
But-
Survivor.
I trust Wyatt and Johnny L. Goodson. Yep. Good
Boom.
job. Good job, Wyatt. Thank you for being smarter than me.
Movies.
This actor had the lead role in the 2005 cult favorite Christmas rom-com Just Friends and starred alongside Will Ferrell in 2022's Spirited.
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds.
He wears the fat suit with Amy Smart. Mm-hmm. And then he loses all the weight. She's like, I thought you had her fat. And he was like, why did I do all of this fucking work? Because I was attracted to you, but you liked me when I was fat with braces. Like, whatever, I'll do better.
Whatever. Green Lantern.
Should I sing this or
You
read
should.
it?
I believe you should sing.
Going down the only road I've ever known. Like a drifter, I was born to walk alone.
What's the rest of it?
Wyatt.
I don't know. I was in chorus 3 years. I'll have you know.
No.
Very good job.
I don't know how.
That karaoke machine's
Might
gonna.
get you to do a
Dude.
performance for us on the 24 hour.
Take Me to Church by Hozier. I'll have people crying. Don't worry about that.
Give us a
This
little.
is
Give us a little
for-
tidbit.
There we go.
Nice.
Great way to close it out this morning. We appreciate everybody sticking with us with the late start. I've got to jet out of here, get to Madison prep for a freshman basketball game. Wish us the best of luck. We've got 2 games, 11 a.m., 1 p.m., and then varsity tonight at Terra. So
3
long
games.
Day. Long day.
Which one do you coach the most on?
Freshman.
What do you do? Like head coach?
We split it. Me and Daniel Newman, shout out. Are the
Y'all
freshman
compete?
head coaches.
Oh, you don't split time. Y'all split like
just-
assistant head coach,
yeah,
assistant head coach. I didn't know if like you get the first 2 quarters, I get the next 2.
No.
That would be really fun.
That would be
Crazy.
interesting.
Like, actually, now you leave, I'm in.
Uh-huh.
Everything he said?
No.
Don't do that.
You're down 15 at halftime. All right, boys, we got to switch it up here. We
It's
got to
like
do
that
something
Shane Gillis
different.
skit with
Yeah.
with the first time they went, they integrated football, and he was like,
Oh God.
"How about that second half?" White guys really ruined it for us. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 8 to 10 a.m. We will be live this week. Show schedule today, tomorrow, Wednesday. No show Thursday, Friday. Watch party Saturday, and then we'll be back next week. So just remember, show today, tomorrow, Wednesday. We'll wish you a Merry Christmas. Be off. Enjoy your resting day of Friday. Live Saturday evening for LSU versus Houston. We'll see y'all tomorrow morning, 8 to 10 a.m.
Is that Good Friday?
That's Easter.
I guess they wouldn't kill him the day after his birthday. Be the real, who did that? What was the man that split the baby in two? Solomon. Little history / religion. It wasn't the baby Jesus they did that to.
No, it wasn't.
But they sure did want him.
Your baby Jesus.
All right.
8 pounds, 6 ounces.